We're excited to announce the launch of our new website, designed with you in mind. We understand that tithing and managing your giving can be a hassle, but our new website makes it easier than ever. Our website is mobile-friendly, making it easy for you to give on the go or during service, whether you are using your computer or mobile phone. Our website is fully responsive, ensuring a seamless user experience. You can easily give your tithes and offerings with just a few clicks, either as a one-time donation or set up a recurring donation. Recurring donations make it convenient for you to give regularly, so you never have to worry about forgetting. Make sure to include your envelope number when using the GiveLify app. Our website offers added security with a login feature, ensuring that your information is kept confidential. You can access your giving history at any time and keep track of your contributions throughout the year, or utilize our convenient text-to-give options to text your tithes on the go. At Bethany Church, we believe that giving is an act of worship, and our new website makes it more accessible than ever before. Visit gotobethany.com today and discover the power of giving with our new giving website. Thank you for your generosity.
Position yourself to receive from God with Bishop David G. Evans teaching When Men Pray.
Have there been times when you have asked someone to pray for you and the prayer has not been answered? Because instead of praying for yourself, you waited until someone else that you thought had more power would pray for you. Prayer is something that you resort to immediately and not as a last resort. You need to learn how to pray preemptively. You need how to pray ahead of time. Don't always be praying in response. Pray proactively. Pray before it happens. Lord, cover my child. Lord, bless my day.
Develop your relationship with God with this dynamic teaching on CD or DVD when you write to us. Visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480.
Allow God's living waters to wash over you and refresh your soul.
You've been praying for yourself when the answer is in praying for other people. While I'm praying for California, God shows up in my house.
As kingdom people, with the king in us and us being sovereign ground, we are not governed by the laws of this land, but we're governed by the laws of heaven.
He's talking about you going to draw water from the wells of salvation. Where's the well? In you.
If we want to release the water, watch this, we don't have to pray for it to come. Where we are now, we pray for it to be released.
Release deliverance and transformation in every area of your life through God's living waters. This revitalizing 3-message series can be yours on CD or DVD when you visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480 today.
What if you could make one decision to unleash everything great in your life? Would you do it? Would you say yes? Aren't you tired of your relationships, your health, and so much more suffering because you lack the truth you need to change? The life you desire is within your reach. You can achieve all the success, happiness, and prosperity you deserve by simply learning the secrets that lead to real personal transformation. Change is hard, but not impossible. You just have to make one radical decision to get real. And there's no better authority on the real steps to change than David G. Evans.
Some men trust in chariots. Some men trust in horses. But we will trust in the Lord.
David G. Evans is leading the charge to bring you the power to change your life. He is committed to the mission of helping you transform and become a person of power, and it starts with his all-new system to change your situation. At the centerpiece of this life-altering collection is David Evans' groundbreaking training course. From ridiculous to radical to real, this means war. In this series, you will discover the steps to change. This series includes 2 powerful messages, each on winning the battle in your mind and cultivating a language of faith. That's 4 messages, 4 power-filled hours of material. If you want a better marriage, this series has the answers. If you want to achieve financial independence God's way, the secrets in this series will empower you to make it happen. If you want a life of power, anointing, and influence, this series will show you how to get it, and there's more. You're looking for serious, immediate results. So Bishop Evans will also include one of his best-selling messages called Weapon of Warfare. This classic teaching will build you up to start fighting in the spirit for what you deserve. This powerhouse collection, from ridiculous to radical to real, and Weapon of Warfare, will give you all the biblical strategies you need to change anything in your life. This collection will ship to you immediately with your gift today to David G. Evans Ministries. This ministry is revolutionizing the kingdom by empowering believers. Souls are being saved daily, and we need your help to grow this impact in a real way. Call now and sow your seed of just $35 for your transformation to help people around the world. Your $35 love gift goes straight to the front lines of ministry, providing help to those that need it most. Call now. Make the decision to get the power you need to change your life forever.
Well, praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on any smart device at David G. Evans 1, at David G. Evans, the #1. We're so glad you joined us today, and won't you do us a favor right now? Won't you like and subscribe to us and share with as many of your followers as you can. Share with your feed that On Point is on once again as we talk about those things that are relevant to politics and sports and life and major events, both nationally, regionally, and internationally, how they affect you, but always from a biblical or kingdom perspective. We want to bring that biblical wisdom into the conversation consistently so that you are like the sons of Issachar. You understand the times and you know what to do from a biblical point of view. If you're not familiar with the sons of Issachar, they were a group of individuals in the Old Testament who studied the wisdom books of the Bible because they understood very early on that those books would give them the wisdom that they need to navigate the life they were living amidst shifting political events and mindsets, cultural, racial, all that they learned from the wisdom books of the Bible. So you might want to take a clue from them and stop overlooking those wisdom books. Job, Psalm, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, and James in the New Testament are the wisdom books of the Bible. And you can get a lot of knowledge and learn. You can shorten your learning curve by studying those books of the Bible. They talk about everyday life. You see people in everyday situations, real situations, everything from political to relationship. That wisdom is in your Bible, in those wisdom books. Now, we have a toll-free number. We want you to give us a call. We love to talk to you. We have a rule, and that is we can disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable to do it. So it's not about you having to have the same point of view as we have, but there is a decorum that we like to maintain on Point because we are a Christian-based call-in talk show. That number is 866-743-8267. That's 866-743-8267. I'll give it to you a little slower. 866-743-8267. That's around the world. Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you toll free. And once again, let a couple people know. Tag some folk. Let them know that you are listening and on point, and invite them to watch us also and get involved in this conversation as we hopefully will add some wisdom to your life today. Of course, Reverend Nicholas Smith is on a couple of days off. And Mr. Clean, Reverend Richard White, is here with us. The famous gospel singer.
That's starting to stick. I had a couple congregants call me that last Sunday.
Oh boy, the famous gospel singer, Mr. Clean White. So we are so glad that Dr. Clean is with us once again. I don't know why I never thought of that before.
All these 31 years. 31 years.
You know, and I used to listen to Richard White all the time. You know, he had that raggedy voice, but he kept going up, man. I tell you. So good to see you, man. How's everything?
Everything's well. Good to see you also.
All right. So we got some stuff going on here.
A little bit.
It's hard where to start. But I think we cannot go much further into the program without talking about the fact that I was stunned, and I was also offended by my own lack of knowledge earlier in the week when they said that there had been 184 days in the year so far, and there were 354 mass shootings in 184 days.
Yeah.
I thought I had misheard, didn't understand. I thought some other broadcast had leaked into my head when I looked at it, and I said, 354 in 184 days.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And those are the ones that were just 4 or more people.
That's right. There's been 11 since between July 1st and July 5th. There were 11.
It's amazing. and then they're not counting the 3 or less. The 3
That's right.
under 4.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
Under 4 is not, I don't want to say it this way,
mass.
significant enough to be called a mass shooting. So we're seeing 2 and 3 people get killed, and that's not in the statistic.
Yeah.
So how much of that is actually in the actual living actuality of people? If that's mind-boggling to me. But what's bothering me even more, Rich, is why are we leading the world in this nonsense? We're leading the world in this category.
It's all about that Second Amendment, right? No, not the Second Amendment. Right to bear arms is the second. No, what it
has nothing to do with what's going on right now.
It has nothing to do with what's going on right now. I mean, you got mental health, you got access, you got
there's the problem.
You got aggression, microaggression.
There's the problem.
But it's the mental health, just the pure access.
Mm-hmm.
You take away the access, doesn't mean there still aren't going to be
for real.
But you really take it away.
Yeah, for real.
That's going to help.
Why haven't we been able to react like other nations have? I understand when Ireland had their first shooting where some children were involved, they clamped down on everything, and they haven't had one since.
Same thing in New Zealand, yeah.
Unbelievable. Why can't we do this? And I hate to say it like this. How much money is being given to support these politicians that will not say, okay, you have to have a background check. You have to pass it. It has to be more rigorous than you getting your driver's license. There can't be an automatic number. You don't really need an assault weapon in the neighborhood.
That's right.
It just seems like common sense gun laws are not common sense.
Yeah, you would just think it'd be something that would be very cumulative. You don't have to start, to do everything, but it's the little things. Okay, first of all, like you said, background checks. Second of all, no more assault rifles.
No.
Shotgun, handgun, no assault rifle.
Right.
No, no semi-automatic kind of stuff.
And then these ghost guns are popping up.
Those guns.
I heard the most ridiculous, I don't want to call it logic, explanation. Gun manufacturers said we mailed them the parts. We did not send them a gun. You buy a model in the store, you go home and assemble it. The intention of the manufacturer of the model is that you go home and assemble the replica of the reality. So you're going to tell me as a gun manufacturer, you're going to send the parts to my house and I build a gun and you're not responsible for the gun?
It's hard to make sense out of nonsense.
It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
You just can't make sense out of it. You remember when we were in Europe for those 4 years, in Denmark, you can't even get it. You can get a hunting gun if you're a citizen.
Okay.
That's it. A hunting rifle.
That's the end of it.
That's it. Nothing else. No handguns, no automatics, no nothing.
Because you don't need anything else.
You don't need nothing else.
So obviously they don't have this mass shooting problem.
No, they don't have that issue. They've had shootings.
Yeah.
But they didn't have 354 since the beginning of the year.
You know, the biblical point of view of this is that acts of hatred are not sudden.
Mm-hmm.
They're cumulative.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 John tells us clearly that this hatred didn't start with us. The seed of an incident might have started.
That's right.
But these expressions of hate that we're seeing have accumulated over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear in the Bible. There has been there's such a distinct lack of love that the people that can make a decision will not make the decision based on the support, financial support they're getting from the gun lobbies.
From the gun lobbies.
Yeah.
And like we always say, what if it comes knocking on their doorstep? And
it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. That's the thing. That didn't even matter.
Because I thought Hook, the one in Connecticut, the shooting there.
Mark.
I thought for sure that shooting of the elementary school children. I said, okay, they're going to do something.
Yeah, there's 26 elementary students.
Yeah, they're going to. I was like, when I heard that, I was like, this is terrible.
Right.
They're going to do something.
Right.
Nothing.
Silent.
Then they had a softball game.
Yep.
And they had a shooting there. I said, well, it's really landed in their ballpark.
Right.
No pun. Nothing. I couldn't believe
and
it.
These are folks that are legislating that were the target.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It does. Politicians are shot on the road. Nothing happens. There's no reaction. So the only thing in America that I know would cause you to ignore the life of people working down the hall from you is money.
And that's sad.
The value of life. So what
we have minimized the value of life.
So let's extend the conversation a little bit. So if our politicians will not do what's necessary to get a grip on this problem, how can we sincerely believe that they are concerned about our lives every day?
It's no different than what we talked about last week with the affirmative action thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that you care about somebody when you're showing them quite clearly that you do not.
You do not. It's just so blatant, and on what it's almost like I'm not worried about you getting shot, but I do care about you.
Yeah.
I won't do anything about the rampant violence in your neighborhoods, but I really do care about you.
It's the whole Good Samaritan story, living in full living color.
Yeah.
Walk past, walk past, walk past, walk past.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. Then there's this there's so much ambiguity. So I was listening to a politician talk about abortion the other day. And now some of my Republican friends have shifted from none to it's okay for the first 15 weeks, and then it's not okay. Either you're pro-fetus or you're not.
Yeah, it's one or the other. There's no gray in that.
Not 15. Pence came out with 15 weeks.
Yeah, there's no gray in that.
And that's, he's supposed to be the strong Christian guy. He comes out with 15 weeks. I'm looking at it at the TV like, what? So now it's okay up to 15 weeks.
Yeah.
But
there's no middle ground on that.
I was baffled. Yeah. I had this conversation years ago when I was working one of the banks I was working at. Credit analyst sitting around with the rest of the credit analysts. And we were talking about, I think we were either working on Hong Kong, Shanghai Bank. That was what I was working on. And we used to have a collective discussion about the banks and the companies we were working on. No, I was working on Federal Express.
Mm-hmm.
And the abortion question came up, and a lot of the ladies were really, they were really passionate about it. And my thing was, why are you coming up with all these explanations that are supposed to make it okay for you to do this? So I asked a simple question in the group meeting, and back then we didn't talk like this. I didn't realize it was a drop mic moment.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I got a question for you. If you didn't have an abortion, what would you have? The silence was deafening. So you can't
Did
tell.
anybody say anything?
No, there was no recovery. Because you're saying, well, it's not life, it's not this.
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't stop it, what would you have? So it must be life.
That's right.
And the Bible's clear about this stuff. It's. I remember when I did we were outdoors and I did the thing on abortion, and the Bible's very, very clear.
Last summer, yeah.
Yeah, very, very clear about it. And here's where I think the national church is wrong. We need to stand for what we need to stand for. We're pro-life, boom. But what we believe in America, we cannot inflict on other people. We can't tell somebody who's not a Christian what to do.
That's right.
So it's yes, these are my beliefs. We're pro-life, but I will defend your right to make your own decision.
Make your own decision, yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
But somewhere along this nationalist movement, we believe we can actually make people do what we believe. Yet, we don't want them meddling with our beliefs at all.
Right. And that's back to what you taught us Wednesday night when I looked at you funny. You said that there's only one risk that God took with us.
Our will.
And that's what people have. People have that. I can believe what I believe. That's not for me to impart my belief on you, because you have free will.
Absolutely.
And that's your choice.
That's right.
That's your life.
That's right.
I can control me.
Biggest risk he ever took. The only risk he ever took was giving mankind a will. Because man, oh man.
Because he could have, if anybody could have made us do what he wanted us to do, it was him. And he chose not to. So why should I choose to?
I've been saying for 30-some years, that tree was about choice.
Yeah, all about choice. And we all got choice, and then we all got to deal with whatever the choice is.
So what's your prognosis on what our government is going to do about this gun problem? And it has moved away from inner city neighborhoods. It is now happening in areas that people thought it never was going to happen. And and I'm not oblivious. I love the Lord. I believe in the Lord's protection. But I don't think I've walked into a store in the last 10 years and made sure I wasn't on the phone, that I was paying attention, that I knew where the exits were. I mean, I'm looking like some kind of secret agent when I walk in. I want to know where I can go, what I can do. And that's every single store.
Yeah, but that, what you're talking about, is certainly something that you do, but that's from growing up in the hood.
Yeah, true.
You know, that's just from understanding your surroundings. Now, if it is heightened,
it's heightened.
It's heightened because I'm the same way.
Okay.
You know, particularly if I'm with Lisa and my mom, I'm like, okay, let me make sure I know what's going on. In this case, I got to do something to get them out the way.
I'm paying attention to people more than I ever have.
Right.
It's almost taken. I remember a couple years ago, the kids and I went to the movies, and I literally was studying the floor plan.
Exactly.
You know, and making sure we were sitting somewhere where I thought I could get them to.
Get something, yes.
Yeah, yeah. It was. I'm like, wow, and I'm spending time not watching the screen.
Yeah.
But looking at everyone that's coming in.
And the unfortunate thing about that, Bishop, is that growing up, I was telling my mom a couple weeks ago when I was taking her home, I didn't have to think about any of that. I just rode my bike wherever I wanted to ride, come in when I knew to come in, and they didn't have to worry. There wasn't no mobile phones or nothing. We just went.
Didn't have to worry about somebody pulling their car up,
Snatching
you off your.
Don't snatch me.
We used to go out all day long.
Day long. Parents wouldn't see you all day.
And there was no doubt you were coming back.
Nope, no doubt. But now, the unfortunate reality is that our kids and their kids are going to have to deal with that. So to your question, what do I think the government's going to do about it? I don't think the sitting government is going to do, I can't say anything about it. They're not going to do anything.
I felt your spirit. I felt your spirit.
They're not going to do anything.
It wasn't the Holy Ghost. I just felt.
No, that wasn't.
I just felt your spirit.
But okay. I think the hope is in the children that have seen all this, that are doing all this. That it's not our generation. It's the generation behind us that hopefully. And I don't even know if we'll see it in our lifetime, unfortunately. But that I hope. That will turn this government, will put different people in office, will make sure that the voting allows for us to put certain stipulations in place to help mitigate. I don't think it'll eliminate, but to mitigate.
It has to get better.
Impact, yeah.
It sounds like you're saying that you don't think these current events will stimulate enough young folk to get to the polls and say this has to stop. Because that's who the majority of people are getting killed, children and teenagers.
I think they'll get to the polls. I do think that. But when I think about the current state of the electorate, it will take time for those folks to be moved out. And they have to be moved out.
Only way they can be moved out is if they're put out of office.
That's right, but that is not a light switch, right? That's going to be a progression.
We would have to,
succession.
people would have to go to polls with a purpose. Now they're trying to say that the very generation that's being highly impacted by all this gun violence is not going to vote. Well, what the heck is what's going to take to stimulate them to get to the poll?
Yeah, I think when you start looking at Roe versus Wade, affirmative action, LGBTQ, the one other thing that came out last week, but those type of things are impacting all of our young folks.
Yeah,
you know, they live in this every day, and they're just engaging with people.
But don't you see the I'm sure you do see there is I've got Republican friends. I know how they feel about these things. It is not pro any of those people. I mean, they're not. My Republican friends, a lot of them, are not about everybody has a right. My Republican friends are about this agenda to just clamp down on these minorities that they believe that have displaced them. So they're not worried about the rights of people.
No.
They're what they're concerned with is how do we hold on to our power?
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to oppress them. How do you oppress them? The way they're trying to do it now.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
so
real.
because to me politically, it doesn't make sense that right before an election, you want to get African Americans upset about affirmative action.
Right.
You don't want to get the gay people, I guess you're not supposed to say that. The LGBTQ, I don't know what else there is, but
plus
you don't want to raise those juggernauts
because they're going to vote
right before the election,
right.
Which makes me wonder who's driving the clown bus for the Republican Party.
Yeah, and I think there's some folks believe that do it now, and by the time election gets here, folks will forget.
I think they poked the wrong bears for that.
So I think they have.
Because if
folks are going to feel it.
If anything, you know, the college kids with this, Republicans took it away. You know, the Supreme Court, Republican waited, took it away. Okay, there's going to be a reaction. Affirmative action. Everybody knows you want to win a presidential election. The African American juggernaut is what's going to do it. It can't. There's no argument about it. You want to win a presidential election, you get black folk out to vote for you, you're going to win the election. So I continually say, who's driving the bus on the Republican side of the highway? I don't get it.
Yeah, they're in a bit of disarray right now, prime for the taking.
Oh yeah.
But still, there is too much of an undercurrent of this dissent that we're seeing that lends itself to what you just said, and what we talked about last weekend was when you've been the oppressor, equality feels like oppression.
That's
to you.
right. That's inequality. 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. This is On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America. We're going to line one. We got Danny from Florida. Good morning, Danny. How you doing? Good morning, Dan. What we got going on? Danny?
Oh, trying to stay cool, but can't.
How you doing, man?
Oh, man, it's burning up down there. Really.
Is it hot? Is it hot in Florida?
Hot is not the word.
What kind of temperatures are you guys getting?
Well, when they put
You're going in and out, Dan.
When you
Start over again. How hot is it?
110.
Yeah, 110? Okay, something's going on with the line.
It's too hot.
Hold on, Dan. We're going to try to get your line cleared up. Help me out there. People, who's on line 3? Yeah, there's a problem. Do we need to disconnect everybody and everybody call back? Let's see if I can get Danny back. Danny, are you there?
Yes, yes.
All right, because you keep going in and out on us today. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Danny, I'm going to hang up. You call back, okay?
Will do.
All right. I don't know what was going on with that line. It sounded like an invasion.
It's hot, but they say it's not the hottest days ever.
No?
Yeah. Compared to 125,000 years ago.
While we're waiting for... Those statistics always make me laugh. 120, who was alive to experience that 125 years ago?
What apparatus were you using?
What contextual relevance is there to
125 to measure the temperature?
Come on, man.
125,000 years ago.
Who's around to say, that's true? While we're waiting for Danny to get back on, what do you think of this new Threads thing coming from it? Do you think?
Well, I am a very non-intelligent but understanding of the whole social media network.
Thank you so much.
But that being said, competition is real, and what I saw in the news the other day and read this morning is that there have been millions of people that already have jumped on this thread thing, and it's certainly a competitive thrust to Twitter.
Okay, so I understand they got multiple millions of people jumped on the thread.
Yeah.
Catchy name,
Threads.
Yeah. And something that's been used for a long time.
That's right.
Threads. But I also understand there's this personal thing between.
They talking about getting in the ring.
Yeah, man.
Musk and Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
But they say Zuckerberg's actually been training.
Oh yeah, he's not a black belt, but they show him doing it's not jiu-jitsu. Maybe it is jiu-jitsu. But yeah, he's been training.
I don't. Now Musk may surprise us, but he doesn't look like he's.
Well, I don't know. Real trainers, real fighters don't publicize them training.
That's true.
They just come on.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. You don't want to give anybody any notice.
You notice. You just come on.
The shock ought to be when you face an individual. Yes,
that's right.
Yes, sir. Selling wolf tickets never want to fight. They never want to fight.
No. So we'll see about that. But yeah, I think Threads is going to take off. I think Twitter has changed CEOs. First it was Musk, then it was somebody else. Then he brought another lady in. I forget where she came from, but she's certainly a competent individual.
Trust me, he's running it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's running it, but he's running. This is healthy competition. There's room for all of it. There's room. So
I wonder what quirks are going to be in Threads and why. You think people will add Threads to their social media platform existence, or do you think people will switch from Twitter to Threads? Because there has been some complaints about Twitter.
Yeah, I think folks that have been on Twitter a long time will check out Threads and then decide whether they're going to switch. Folks that have not done either may try Threads and say, "Hey, let me try this new thing and see how that works."
And I just personally, Twitter has become a little more difficult to tap into. It's slower. Mm-hmm. I don't know where they cut back on their technical support, but I know he laid a bunch of people off.
Yeah, a whole lot of people.
Yeah. He needed to. He spent enough money for that thing. I'm interested to see how this works. I want to see if Threads becomes an advantage for us.
It could be. It could.
And it depends on if Zuckerberg has targeted Twitter and says, okay, this is what they're not doing well, and this is what Threads is going to do well. They could see a good migration, I think.
Yeah, plus Zuckerberg needed to do something because the metaverse wasn't moving as swiftly as they thought it was.
I don't know
going to come to be.
Why people mess with stuff that's working for him. He was doing just fine.
Yeah.
Let's go. Danny's on line 3 out here. Hey, Dan, is that you?
Yes.
There it is. How you doing?
How's it going?
All right, let's start over. Now, you said something about being hot in Florida. Come on, man.
Yes. It's burning hot.
What kind of hot? What's the temperature?
I can't say it, but it's hot.
It just feels hot.
No, it is hot, Bishop.
You don't know the temperature, Dan?
Oh yeah, the actual temperature is 98.
Oh my! In the morning?
Yes.
Oh my!
Right now.
So what are you looking at by 2:00 this afternoon?
Well, when they have what they call a temperature variant.
Oh boy!
That they throw that in, and what's cooling us down, keeping us from going any hotter, is that they have what they call the Saharan dust. That gives us a like cloud, that keeps it down. But it's really bad.
So the air's polluted, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we have a dust that comes from the Sahara, which is Africa, that comes over. That it gives you, if you have breathing problems and stuff like that, it affects you.
98 in the morning feels like it could get up like 110 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to be hot.
Yeah,
it's going to be hotter. It's going to get hotter. That's for sure.
Now we've had some heat up here, but I don't think we've been in the 90s, haven't we? High 80s.
Yeah, it's been in the 90s, but it felt like 98.
Yeah, that's humidity.
That's humidity, though.
Yeah,
that's
and
humidity.
something else that we have down here is that you're getting is shark attacks.
Shark attacks.
Yes.
We're getting shark attacks.
Yes.
Yeah, we getting shark attacks. Oh yeah, shark
Where?
attacks everywhere, up and down the East Coast. Yeah, the sharks are just hanging out with the people in the water now. No, they show on TV. They show like what they call those things that fly in the air.
Yeah.
The drones.
The drones. They show
yeah.
the drones. The folks out in the water, sharks just hanging out. But sharks do not really care to eat humans or bite them. They can be aggressive.
I don't think anyone that's ever been bitten can confirm that, though. I think that's pure speculation by someone who has not been bitten. Prefer not. That's funny.
Danny was 2 degrees off. It's 100 degrees.
It's 100 degrees down there already, Dan. So Dan, are they having a lot of shark attacks in Florida?
Yes, we've always had it, but they don't publicize that because it's not good for tourism.
Well, what do you guys do? You got gators if you're inland.
Right.
You've got sharks if you go to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
It almost sounds like Australia.
It is.
And then if it's real hot, they get the jellyfish.
Oh yeah.
And they don't publicize it, but we have crocodiles as well.
You guys have crocs?
Yes.
Where?
And they're close to the salt marsh.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You can keep all that right down there.
I know when Ray and I were studying the Everglades last year, 3rd grade. Mind you, I didn't know what Everglade was till I was in like 9th grade, but we're studying Everglades. And the number of species in the Everglades, supposedly one of the highest concentrations of different plants and animals in the world.
Everglades is pretty cool.
I also didn't know that Florida gets a lot of their drinking water from the Everglades.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this was 3rd grade stuff, so I'm just
No, it's
so.
a nice place to visit if you can get on one of them Arab things and ride around.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind going to the Everglades. I mean, I've been there. I mean, every time you go to Disney World, you're actually in the Everglades, but
Yeah, you are.
because they build it on top of it. So, Dan, what else is going on down there, man? What's your governor doing?
Briefly, well, he's away and it's going crazy down here. We have an outbreak of malaria on the West Coast.
I heard that.
Yes, and
Malaria?
Yes, yeah.
Come on, man. What, mosquitoes flew over from where?
They've always been here, always.
Wow.
Yeah, we've always had malaria in the other regions of the world, in Africa, in South America, and Mexico.
Absolutely.
But mosquitoes travel well. They travel.
They fly.
They'll get in your stuff too.
They'll get in your stuff.
And the stuff and come, and they are malaria. The great thing about malaria is it is a curable disease. So if somebody gets the fevers or the vomiting or the symptoms associated with malaria, you can get treated for it.
I remember
you don't want it, but you can get treated for it.
Yeah, I remember when I went to Ecuador, and I had to get specifically a malaria shot that was not normal because the malaria was an issue in Ecuador, and the conditions were such. And when we went on a mission trip, I got down there and we went into the neighborhoods, into people's homes, and the trepidation I had about getting the shot was immediately eliminated.
That's right.
When I got in the neighborhoods,
Yeah,
I was glad.
That's right.
I was glad I had.
I know that's right.
I wondered had I had enough.
Same thing when I went to Africa. Give me that shot.
But what I wanted to talk to mainly about is that with the gun violence, it's crazy. It's just absolutely
in Florida.
Yes. I mean, a mass shooting down here, like you said, if you don't have like 5, 10, it doesn't make the news.
Wow.
I mean, you talking about road rage? Don't cut anybody off.
Mm-hmm. But so people usually do irrational things, usually, when they don't think there's a consequence. So, Danny, what is the consequence? Let's say, for instance, we get an offender bender, you jump out, start shooting. What is the consequence for that in Florida?
I felt threatened. He threatened me.
So that's the stand your ground thing?
Yes.
So people actually shooting because they believe that in Florida they most likely will get off?
It depends on who you are.
Well, who determines what? We've been saying that for years.
Yep. There you go.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
You know, I felt threatened. You know, I could be behind a door or something like that, but I felt threatened and I shoot.
Help me out with something, Dan. So, in order to get a gun in Florida today, do you need a permit? Do you need what's the administrative process?
Well, they had this last week, the 1st of July. You have you don't have to have a permit to carry.
No permit is necessary.
No permit.
So walk me through this because I'm not clear on this. So I can go to a gun store, get a gun and ammunition, and walk out like I just purchased a cup of coffee.
Right. But the way that most people will do it is that they got to get it from the guy on the corner.
But why get it from the guy on the corner if I don't have to? Because do they have to register the gun? Well, the sale has to be registered, correct?
Right. But see, like the incident that they had, and I keep bringing this up, that they had on the beach a few weeks back.
Yeah.
They had a shooting.
10 people were shot.
Yeah. Okay. But there were 5 guns that were left.
Because they were stolen.
Yes. They're not traceable.
I can't imagine what it's like to live in a place like that. That's scary, Danny.
It is. It is.
Because you don't know. You've just increased the possibility of someone who should not have a gun having the gun.
All we got to do is go across the bridge to west, the north, west, east, southeast Philly, and it's the same thing, Bishop. Just there's no laws that say you can't or you can't. But it's just as crazy across the bridge.
Yeah, it is. It is. Unbelievable. I was getting ready to say something silly. I was getting ready to talk about common sense, but that's not common anymore, as my grandma used to say.
Right.
So how do regular Christian folk deal with the environment that they're in?
Number one, you have to be prayed up before you go anywhere.
Okay.
And I'm so glad that you spoke to us and told us about not getting upset about certain things. You go ahead and you listen. You just go ahead and you can just say, well, I apologize. I'm sorry. I stepped on your foot, your shoes, your new Nikes. You know, don't shoot.
Unbelievable. Now, I tell you what was, when I was a teenager, which was about
a long time ago.
About 55 years ago.
Half a century ago.
I'll get you back, Rich. I'll get you back. I'll get you back. I'll wait till service. But I'll get you back. Now, it had gotten so bad when I was a teen that if someone stepped on your shoes at a party or at school or accidentally bumped into you in the hallway, there was a segment of our population that would start a fight based on that. There was actual violence. They would fight if you stepped on someone's shoes.
Yes, that's crazy.
Yeah. So the sense of worth was horrible then. So today we got the same loss of self-worth
and it develops into gun violence?
Yes. Yes.
There's been reports that have told people of color don't even go to Florida.
Well, that's why I'm asking Danny, what did the average person do down there? But then a couple of weeks ago, I had this guy saying everything down here is great. They're exaggerating it. Black man said it's all exaggerated. It's not racist. It's not this. It's not that. But I know people down there.
I know people that live in their pods, and they would say the exact same thing.
That's a person in a gated community. Now they're not even safe.
Okay. So it's starting to hit the neighborhoods they never thought it would hit. But I'm not sure it's going to. I'm not sure there's if what has happened historically has not been enough to motivate people that a change is needed. Affluent neighborhoods, ghetto it's all over the place. Synagogues, Christian, it's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to motivate us that a drastic change is needed because we're killing each other?
Until the people that allow it are voted out of office, nothing will happen.
We're back to that again.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Back to that again. Yeah. And we got to mobilize. And I think that the slow reaction that I perceive of African American neighborhoods to this, because it's been a problem for us as long as I can remember. I don't know why, where we live the most, we've got our fair share of this stuff going on. But ours does not tend to be mass. It tends to be one-on-one, one-on-three.
Yeah.
You know, this business rep killing this business rep, that type of thing. I don't know what it's going to take, man.
Yeah, I think as we talked earlier, I believe in what Danny just said. The unfortunate events that help bring a country together, things like war.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't want no war, but
But we've got one on the streets.
We got one on the streets right now that we're not fighting well. But
we're not fighting at all.
We're not fighting at all, right?
We're responding to it. We're not preventing it.
That's right.
And
it's all reactive, nothing proactive.
But my problem is that the population seems to be anesthetized to this thing. The population has become numb to it. Like, we can't normalize this kind of behavior. But if it doesn't happen in your neighborhood, people say, oh, there was another mass shooting.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, we got to do something about the one happening in Oklahoma because this thing catches airplanes and comes to other people's cities. This is like jealousy. It travels. It catches planes and trains. It drives automobiles. We're not immune to it. I mean, we have church, but I've never seen as many officers as we see now.
Yeah, that's right.
Outside, inside.
Inside, everywhere.
You know, because we're not presenting ourselves as a soft target.
Mm-mm.
But a lot of places don't have the resources to do that. You know, but our number one thing is keeping our people safe.
That's right.
So if presence means something, if the officer sitting at the bottom of the driveway, and the officer in the parking lot,
in the hallway,
and the officer in the hallway on either ends, you know, that's the environment we're in. But we shouldn't be in that environment.
No.
And as you said before, Bishop, we had a mass shooting here where the 20 lives were lost.
Yeah.
And now we have it, and I was observing something on a time of love, Valentine's Day. We don't get a chance to celebrate Valentine's Day because we're always reminded that that incident happened on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
When it should have been about love.
Yeah. Well, the Bible talks about this loss of love and what it produces.
That's right.
And this violence is part of that, part of the fruit of the loss of love, the love of God.
That's right.
Danny, we got to go, man.
Okay, Bishop.
Tell my sister I said hello.
All right, thank you, Bishop.
Bye-bye. Tom, how you doing, man?
Good morning, Bishop. How you doing, Reverend White?
Good morning.
What's going on?
You know, you talk about safety. I live in a gated neighborhood, but you got to go out of it. You got to go to the corner store, and you got to go somewhere to get your food.
Yeah.
You know, so it's scary. And you asked a direct question to Danny about how do you get a gun. You need to get a permit to own a gun. But the way people around here get around it If you go to a gun show, you can buy the gun right there.
Without the permit?
Yeah, they will put a request in and send it to Jacksonville or whatever.
Wow.
But you can actually purchase the gun right there.
So you walk out with it and wait for the administrative process to catch up with you? Is that what you're saying?
You got it. Kind of like going to get a driver's license before you take the test.
Wow.
And Bishop, you were saying something earlier about where this comes from. I saw on the news again where the House Freedom Caucus voted to remove Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
Because she cursed, she
called the girl a witch.
Yes, that thing.
Yeah.
But that's how people are acting, and I think that trickles down to the mentality of people out there.
I agree with you 100%, Tom. Because here's the deal. So you're offended enough to throw her off a caucus.
Yeah.
But you're not offended by people dying enough.
Yeah.
To do what's necessary to say to make people safe in America. And they're acting like we did something so good for America. We got her off this caucus.
Yeah.
But they won't do anything about people getting killed in the street.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Bishop, Reverend White was saying the Second Amendment. The problem with the Second Amendment was when it was written, it was for muskets against muskets. That's what the U.S. Army had.
Yes, sir.
They're not coming for you with muskets now.
No.
They're coming with you with a tank, all kind of crazy munitions you can't even dream about.
And there was no standing army, so people had to help defend the country.
Yeah, but that's not how we are now. We have a standing army. We brag about it being the best army in the world, which is questionable.
And that makes no sense for them, to always go back to the Second Amendment, and that's why we can have a gun.
It's not a correct reading of the Constitution. It's incorrect interpretation of what was really on the founding fathers' mind when they did this. We don't have to raise up militias now. We have an army. We have a police force that's not chasing slaves, that are actually supposed to serve you, in the city that you live.
Mm-hmm. And Bishop, you guys are talking about the smackdown with the threads between Elon Musk.
Yeah.
That was a couple of weeks ago when they first said that. That's before they came out with threads.
That's right.
Their friendly thing is not so friendly right now.
Yeah, it's our social media. That's a good point, Tom. Our social media director texted me and said that supposedly Twitter is going to limit the amount of times
they did already
view each day. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Threads, we don't know if it's unlimited or not, but it's going to be a.
Well, the first thing Mr. Musk did was he put a lower limit.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got some blowback, so he raised it to like 10,000 a day.
Okay.
So 10,000 a day is going to be more like corporate and celebrities, that kind of thing. But I'm not getting no 10,000 a day, man. Come on. And I don't even pay attention to things. I get, in reality, you get a tweet from somebody at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
You go back and look again for your response. It's gone in thousands of tweets.
Okay.
So, and I don't have much.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 65,000 maybe on Twitter, 250,000 on Facebook. And the feed is like, I don't even know how you advertise on that thing anymore. Because who's going to see it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't help you on that one. I don't know nothing about it.
I am technologically deficient. I'm just. So, Tom, you're no longer worried about your governor being president?
He's sinking in the polls. And I heard an op-ed today that said people are just getting annoying. Nobody likes him. He's got a dry personality. And when he goes up against Trump head-to-head, I may not like Trump, but Trump is a kind of showman that's going to eat him alive. He's going to be like Ted Cruz.
Let me ask
sitting back looking at the headlights.
Let me ask you a question. I saw Mrs. DeSantis on television yesterday.
She used to be a reporter.
Who?
She used to be a news reporter down here, and she's the brains behind the business.
My question for you, is she an immigrant?
I don't think so. I just know she was on the air up in Jacksonville. She was a local anchor, and when he won in Congress, became a congressman, she became the catalyst behind. She was behind closed doors, pulling the strings.
What ethnicity is DeSantis?
She's born in Zanesville, Ohio.
That doesn't answer my question. I wonder who her parents.
Yeah, but his last name, DeSantis, is.
No, but that's his name. Her name was Jill Casey Black.
Okay.
Yeah.
DeSantis.
Oh, wow.
Where's DeSantis from?
Oh, he is American.
Mm-hmm.
And it says his nationality is born in.
Who's his grandparents? Sometimes you got
born in Jacksonville, Florida.
Sometimes you got self-hatred like Judge Thomas has.
Yeah.
Judge Thomas is guilty of hating himself. My opinion.
You know, and the thing about Thomas is, if you look back on his history, he benefited from a lot of things.
Man, he benefited from affirmative action from the time he was 6.
Yes, and he was in the struggle and saw things. I don't know what flipped him or what went wrong with that guy.
Sometimes when you hang around ethnicities that are not your own, you lose your identity. And you start to identify more with the oppressor than you do with the oppressed.
Yeah. The only problem
Did I say that eloquently enough?
You said it eloquently.
We got to go, Ty. We got to go.
Take care.
Talk to you. We want to invite everybody to join us tomorrow, 8 a.m. for our virtual service, 11 a.m. live here at the sanctuary. You do not want to miss what God is doing in this place. Worship, the atmosphere, word, signs, wonders, and miracles. It's amazing what God is doing. Wednesday is our midweek service. We have a 12 noon service, and we have a 7 p.m. service. Both of those are our midweek impact services. We want to invite everybody to remember that Emerge Ministry starts back in August for grades 1 through 5. We're looking for volunteers with our Emerge Ministry. We have a home buyers event. Now, you'll see more about this. It's going to be on the 30th. That's also when we're going to celebrate the anniversary. But on the 30th, we're going to have M&T Bank here. Their representatives will be here at the church. And we're going to set up the system so that you can get an approval on that day. And some of you who will do the administrative work ahead of time can get a pre-approval before the event. So we want to make sure that you understand that first-time home buyers, people that want to invest in properties, you work at a regular job, you have your own business, we have a program that will allow you to get close to being a homeowner on that day. Now, we're talking about approvals. We're not talking about just coming to find out what's going on. So we're going to give you all the information you need, show you the stuff that's necessary for an approval to be made, so when the event comes, you'll be ready to hear yes. So stay tuned and you'll hear more about that. If you're interested in receiving Bethany news updates, text BBC News to 28950. And I need somebody to show me how to do that because I really don't know how to do that. And if you want to receive devotional messages during the week, you text BBC Elevate to 28950. I think I know how to do this, but I'm not sure. We'd love to pray with you, so you can send all your prayer requests so we can touch and agree with you to social@gotobethany.com. Social@gotobethany. There's no need to pray by yourself, not have someone to help you. Send your prayer request in, and we definitely will touch and agree with you on what we believe God is going to do. We're no longer requiring COVID vaccinations. We're still taking temperatures. We still are distancing, doing the things that we have to do to be here and be safe. We have, blessed the Lord, we've had no outbreaks since we opened last September.
Amen.
And we're one of the few ministries of our size that have been engaged in that. Go ahead, Rich.
Hey, Bishop kind of skipped over it. He said the anniversary celebration on the 30th of the month. We're really excited about at the end of this month, we're going to be celebrating 33 years of Bishop in the pastorate. Sure, I've only been here 31, but I've known him 31 years. But just come on out. We got two great men of God coming out. Prophet Ameltang is going to be at a 11 o'clock service, going to come with a fresh word of God.
Yeah.
And then Pastor Jamal Bryant is going to come up. You know the man from Baltimore by way of Atlanta now. He's going to come and bring a great word for us. But it's going to be great to see y'all in the house. You know, Bishop and I talk many times. When folks think you have everything, they don't think you need anything, but he needs to see you in the house. So come on out and share the word with us and have a good time. And let's celebrate this great man of God on July 30th at 11 a.m. and at 6 p.m. here at the Plaza.
And also, if you've never had an experience with a authentic prophet in a service, you know, we bring who we think are people of integrity and do this thing right. You will have an amazing experience with Daniel Ameltang. I'm trust me when I tell you, absolutely, it's a sign and a wonder. and he's nice with it. So we want you to come on out and hear Daniel, of course, like Pastor White said. You want to hear, of course, Jamal. He hasn't been there on this platform in a long time.
Yeah.
And so we're looking forward to people coming from all over and joining us, not just to hear Prophet Ameltang at 11, but to hear Pastor Bryant. We've got people that are coming for the entire day.
Yeah.
And looking forward to it. Well, we're out of time for Reverend Richard Mr. Clean White. I'm Bishop David G. Evans. Thank you for joining us on On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We want you to remember this. Faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.